Today I am going to be reading to you from Dr. Marty Klein's newsletter. He's an author, a sex therapist in the Palo Alto area, and he has a lot of really good information about sex. I don't agree with everything he says, however, he has a lot of really good experiences, and I really enjoy this article. It's how men and women cooperate to undermine sex, and it has to do with our beliefs. By the way, I want to tell you guys, I met a lady at one of my workout classes the other day who was in her 70s. She's been married 50 years, and she says that she loves sex with her husband after all these years. She's always loved sex, and none of her friends like sex. Most women don't like sex. And I asked her what contributed to her liking sex. I already knew the answer, but I didn't want to put words in her mouth. And she said it was my upbringing. Her parents raised her. They gave her a book called The Joy of Sex. After her wedding night, they said, I hope you had really good sex. They were comfortable talking to her about sex and, like healthy boundaries, of course. So she doesn't have the shame around her body. I was also watching a YouTube video recently from, I like to watch like these church deconstruction people because I get fascinated with people who change their beliefs. And this guy was saying that he remembers being a little boy and his grandma was changing his little brother's diaper, and the little brother was maybe 5 or 6 months old. And, little boy just reached down, grabbed his penis, and the grandma slapped his hand. Right away, even the little baby subconsciously, I'm sure, but the brother watching who made the YouTube video, they get the message, do not touch your penis is bad, slap, slap, slap. Some women are taught sex is something you give to a man, it's not for your own pleasure. And then women raised in religious cultures and in cultures where our virginity was prized, women who were born in the 50s and 60s, they have shame around their sexuality. Their virginity is prized. Their no to sex is what's valued. Being a no to sex is what was valued. So those of you who are in your 50s, the reason your wife doesn't want to fuck you is because of sexual shame. Okay, and that's one thing. I have a small bit of it, and I'm still trying to overcome it, and I'm doing a really good job a lot lately because it also has to do with people pleasing. What does a man want? That's what we're taught. Jesus is watching you masturbate, so don't do it. How many of you are having Jesus in your bedroom when you're masturbating? Like, that's a buzzkill, or your grandparents are in heaven, they can look down on you, like all this shit, or if I like sex, my husband won't respect me. There's so much bullshit. It all has to do with our thoughts. And that's why I like this particular newsletter, because it all has to do with our thoughts about our bodies, around our sexuality. I want to give a separate sort of like shout out to people who were sexually abused. That has got to be, I don't even know what that would be like, a huge violation when you're utterly helpless and you need people to protect you and they don't. They not only hurt you, but your parents are supposed to protect you, either doing it or not protecting you, and you can't go to them because they won't believe you or they can't handle it. This is very traumatic. People who have been sexually abused do not want to have sex, or they're hypersexual, and the people, they don't want to go to therapy because they're afraid to dig it all up because it's very painful. If you like sex, do not marry someone who was sexually abused or sexually shamed unless they've done a lot of therapy and are healed, because I will tell you, it will ruin your sex life. And good sex is the glue of a relationship, because if you're not fucking, you might as well just be fucking roommates. What's the point? Honestly, in my opinion. Cheers. One of my sugar daddies gave me this wine, and I love it. It's very sweet to me. Okay. So let's go into this Marty Klein newsletter from November 30th, 2023. As a sex therapist, I hear a lot about how sex doesn't work, how complicated it is, and how often it simply isn't worth the trouble. Of course, I'm sympathetic. But my job is to notice exactly how people create the sex that frustrates them. And I want to tell you guys that for me, all of this stuff has been like a huge fucking journey that I'm still going on, because it's so hard to I'm trying to create a little ambiance, but I think it's not working. All of this is just really takes a lot to unfold, because a lot of it is subconscious, and our human mind is not able to see the subconscious. It's hidden from view, but it runs the show. So it's very tricky to get out of it. But anyway, my job is to notice exactly how people create the sex that frustrates them. It doesn't take much. Disliking your body, not trusting your partner, feeling guilty about what you want or don't want, and anxiety about, well, anything. Now, theoretically, when one person expresses a common disruptive sexual perspective, the other could gently say, oh, let's talk about it. Two people could discuss what they're self-conscious about or insecure about and be reassured. And this would enhance both the pleasure and closeness of whatever sex people choose to have, but that's not what they do. Because it's awkward and it's uncomfortable, especially if you were raised that you should not like sex, that masturbation is sinful. There are people still today, that religious people, that do not masturbate because they're told it's sinful. I feel sorry for the guys who signed up for this. If you're a guy who signed up to not masturbate, why? You are going to suffer. Any man who signs up to not masturbate because he's Catholic or whatever religion, you are going to suffer. It just doesn't make sense. It's weird. It is just weird. It makes no sense at all. If I was the wife of one of these guys, I would feel constantly under pressure that I'm keeping him from what he needs physically. You know, it's not fair. But you do it for love. Anyway, I digress. Too often it isn't what happens. One partner has an unfortunate idea. An unfortunate idea is, I need to hide one of my body parts during sex. Ladies, can you relate? I think it's more often the ladies that like, I gotta hide my tummy, I gotta hide my belly. Listen, when we're riding a dick, they do not even look at our tummy. They're way too distracted. Believe me. Or someone might think, I have to defend what my body doesn't do during sex. And the other one goes along with it, typically by their silence or worse, by their agreement. Yes, of course you want to hide that big hairy butt. By the way, I love hairy butts. Yes, you do have a problem that you usually don't climax from real sex. By the way, if you made a comment on my last video about a piece of food stuck in my teeth, you are very astute. I did have a piece of food stuck in my teeth, and guess what? I don't give a fuck. Okay, let's continue. And while I see this in couples of all genders and orientations, I especially see it in heterosexual couples in which each person is having sex with someone whose body seems fundamentally unfamiliar. Yes, men and women cooperate way too often in validating each other's bad ideas about sex and their bodies. Here are a few common things people say that undermines their sexual experience. And just see if you've had these thoughts yourself. I take too long to get excited. That's just a thought you have. It's not a fact. This undermines your sexual experience. I take too long to climax. That's mine. Even though it's really not that long in my mind, it's way too long. It's one thing that I'm working on for myself, you guys. We can't have sex during your period. When you're with me, you shouldn't need a vibrator. I don't smell or taste good down there, so don't lick me. If I have to teach you what I like or how to do it, that spoils it. By the way, guys love it if you tell them what you like. They love that. If you don't orgasm inside me, I guess you don't enjoy me that much. Personally, I think it's a turnoff when a guy is so desensitized he can't come inside of a pussy. That to me is a personal turnoff. But, you know, some guys are desensitized from their medications, from aging, from over masturbating, and they can't. But to me as a woman, it's a turnoff. Because I like healthy guys for sex. But, you know, if you're in a relationship and your guy is getting old or he's on medication and he can't climax inside of you anymore, then, you know, it's not because you don't turn him on. It's because he's old. He's desensitized. There are a lot of medications and aging. Guys who, I will tell you this, guys who are healthy into their 60s and 70s can climax inside of a vagina with a condom. It's just when they lose their blood flow and their nerves die that they lose sensitivity. It has nothing to do with you. It's just their body, you know. It's their health. I'm not going to go easy on guys on this one, but let me continue with the newsletter. The best response to each of these thoughts is to let's talk about it. Each of these is an idea which should be gently challenged, negotiated, discussed. Ideas like these narrow our sexual expression, create distance between partners, limit our satisfaction, and make people anxious. These ideas give sex a bad name. They perpetuate the sense that sex is an opportunity to fail, a minefield to navigate, rather than a luxurious buffet where things are easy. This is not the same as one person saying, I don't like being touched like that, and the other person saying, come on, just do it anyway. No, this is about ideas that shape the experiences. So, let's talk about these one by one. I worry it take too long to get excited or climax. And so then the answer would be, too long for what? No adult complains that it takes too long to eat ice cream. Sex play and sex only take too long if one or both people are bored. Oh, that's a good one for me to consider. Why am I bored? Or I think the guy is bored. Is that caretaking or people pleasing? Anyway, don't tell me. I'll figure it out. Okay. We can't have sex during your period. Of course, nobody needs to have sex while they or their partner menstruate, but there are many kinds of sex that don't require putting something inside of a vagina. Or you can use a towel. When you're with me, you shouldn't need a vibrator. Need is an odd idea here. She doesn't use a vibrator at you, she uses it with you. And anything that makes sex more enjoyable, lube, clean sheets, socks on cold feet, shaved legs or face, is to be encouraged, not taken as a personal attack. Talking about shaved faces, guys, ladies, if your guy has a stubble and it hurts the inner labia, you gotta tell him. So many guys don't know. They're shocked when I have to point it out. I love a good stubble. It is so freaking hot. Or even when they shave in the morning and it's smooth, but when you go like this, it feels like porcupine needles. And then they're in that inner pink tissue. The inner pink tissue of the vulva is really thin and it's really delicate. And when they're going down on us, if they move their face, if they move it this way, it's fine. But when they move it this way, oh my God, it's like needles in the most sensitive parts of our body. It's like, no. You either need to shave or you need to keep your tongue out or we're not doing this. These guys don't know because we're not speaking up. Okay, now this is a tough one, ladies. Because we have vaginal juices, okay? And sometimes women think that that doesn't smell good or taste good. I don't smell or taste good down there, so don't lick me. This warning is polite, but I'd say whether you're lickable is up to the licker, not the licky. Guys love that. Pussy juices. What you feel is too funky may be just what your partner likes. And if you relax and enjoy it, that will be another thing your partner likes about it. So unless you have some kind of venereal disease or discharge, or blood, I don't know. Ask him if he likes it. By the way, guys who don't like to go down on women, something wrong with them. I would not suck a dick if a guy doesn't go down on me, frankly. Seriously, there's something wrong. I was married to a guy who didn't like doing that. So fuck him. My pussy tastes good, and he made a huge deal out of it. So fuck that. Do not put up with this, ladies. Because some guy can make you feel like there's something wrong down there when there isn't. Because of his own fucking issues. So glad I'm divorced. If I have to teach you what I like or how to do it, that spoils it. No one says that about food. If I have to tell you how I like my chicken cooked, it spoils the dinner. Just as there's no reason someone should instinctively know how spicy you like your food, there's no reason someone should know how you like to be touched or kissed. Love has nothing to do with it. Teach, show, and tell. I will say that the reason a lot of women don't speak up is because they don't even know what they like. I was in that position for a really long time. I was like, I don't like this, but I do not know what I want that's different. Okay, for the ladies who think, if you don't orgasm inside me, I guess you don't enjoy me that much, or I don't turn you on. I will tell you, it has nothing to do with it. It has about the guy's body, but let's see what he says. People think it's normal to ejaculate inside a vagina. It turns out that's more complicated than you might think and gets harder as men get older. Yes. As men get older, it gets harder for them. Challenges include joint pain, muscle pain, or back pain. Thrusting does take a strong back. Medication side effects, overstimulation, over-concern with her enjoyment, and her anxiety. As I've often said, sex is more than an idea, it's an activity. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys on enjoying sex. Enjoying sex has a lot to do about beliefs. And in my book, The Fuck List, I want to read that to you guys. One moment. This is my book on Amazon. It's my memoir, a lot of juicy sex stories. And here's a section where I was married and I was in a meetup group. And at this point I was in my early 50s. I was talking with some people after the meetup and I wondered of what they would think of me for liking sex with my husband, so I brought it up. And I said, I'm really enjoying sex with my husband more lately. One of the men smiled. You know what I don't like about sex with a woman, he said? I don't like if she has sex with me because she wants attention or approval or she wants to please me. I want to have sex with me because she loves sex. He emphasized those last words and smiled, as if he remembered fucking a woman who loved to be fucked. Wow, really? I wasn't slutty or immoral for liking sex? A man actually preferred a woman who enjoyed sex? An entire new world opened to me. Now, I was raised in the 60s when women were still told to keep their legs crossed, prize their virginity, they shouldn't like sex. My dad is a Persian dad who said I shouldn't date till I'm 30, and my mom was a spiritual woman who said sex is for people who are not enlightened. So between my upbringing, even though I was sexually open, I had all these mixed messages. Unlike these women today, they didn't grow up with all that emotional, sexual baggage. So the whole time I was married, I thought, if I let him know I like it, he's going to disrespect me. Although I did ask for better sex, but I wasn't as direct as I would be now. Now I would never date a guy who is bad in bed, who I don't enjoy fucking. I would be like, I don't enjoy fucking you, so there's the door. Okay? I'm not doing this with guys who, I'm a lot more confident now and I expect good sex. And a lot of men love that. And the men are intimidated by that. There's the door. Being good in bed, by the way, has to do with being physically healthy. So you have a good erectional control, and physically fit enough that you can thrust, and you're emotionally attuned. You're emotionally attuned and you're sensual and you care about how I feel. And you're lusty and relaxed. It's more of an internal state, you know? But anyway, but what I want to tell you guys is that I also have a lot of these beliefs. You know, I have a lot of these beliefs myself, and they held me back because I put up with bad sex for way too long. And I thought I shouldn't let myself like it or whatever. But I'm still growing in this area, you know, questioning my beliefs, feeling free, and being self-expressed and gentle like a dove, in a way, as like not self-expressed in a boundaryless way that would hurt other people. Like I do not, I think in all my years, when I was 20, I had like a mini affair with this married guy who was like an escort client. But other than that, I was never involved with a married man. I don't hook up with married men. I don't date married men. I'm very respectful towards myself and towards the man. And I aim to be authentic and responsible and kind. So I think that's super important. But it's also important to be like, if we're going to have sex, I have to enjoy it. And what are the things that are keeping me from enjoying it? And for a lot of women, it's, you know, it's their beliefs. It's their shame around how they look or their response. Or for men too. Am I hard enough? Do I last long enough? How long do you want to last, guys? Come on. I mean, I don't want to fuck for 20 minutes. That's way too long. That's way too long. At 30 seconds is way too quick. But I always help guys with that. I should make a video on that. I'll put a video on that in the member area about how to last longer. But probably not tonight. I'll do that. I'll do that this week. I'll make videos for the member area about how not to come so quick, and erection difficulties and premature ejaculation. But anyway, thank you for that. If you like this video, then you might want to subscribe to Dr. Marty Klein, to his newsletter, read some of his books. I do disagree with him on the porn. He's a big proponent of porn. I think porn is very detrimental, especially to women. We see that and then think, oh my God, this is how I should respond. It's a huge fantasy thing. I think it's mostly destructive. I'm a much bigger proponent of OnlyFans and Just for Fans, because there you have to be 18 to watch it. And Pornhub just got, there was just a court case they lost because they put child stuff on there and anyone can watch it. You've got young kids watching that stuff. I have a Just for Fans. I do pretty well on there actually, because guys like my body and I post every day. So, but it's very sensual content. If you're looking for me to be rough with guys or whatever, you will not find that. I think that kind of sex is abusive, and it's what predators do. And men who have mental health issues like to be rough with women, in bed or out of bed. So no, my stuff is sensual and it's authentic, but it's under a different name. So you would just have to find me on my Just for Fans. I don't give that out here. I'm not here to promote it. I think occasionally someone tries to find me on there, but I don't really know. I think I'll post this video. No, I will not post it on my Just for Fans, because I don't want the Just for Fans people to know my real name, and then they might try to look me up. It's a separate, separate businesses, because I value my privacy. So you guys do not have access to the sexual part of me, and the sexual part doesn't have access to the real me, like they're separate. And then there's my real life, which is not accessible to anyone online. So I think those are good boundaries. But anyway, I hope that you like this video and that you can kind of question your own thoughts and think like, where am I holding myself back in my beliefs and my thoughts, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not enough, that I'm not responsive enough, hard enough, sexy enough. And those are just all thoughts, and discuss this with your partner. Sometimes just saying it, just someone who's safe and trusted, makes all the difference. And thank you for watching my video. By the way, I love these little boots, these suede boots, and this little skirt I got today from Topshop. I don't know if you guys can see it. Since we are talking about sex, I want to be a little sexy tonight.